Everybody's talking about options, but let's be real. Is that where we should actually start? Let's break down what nobody's even telling you, the truth about trading versus long term investing, and how to know what's right for you in this season, right? My name is Chrissy,
And I'm George.
and welcome to Married to the Market. There are some differences between long term investing and options, and let's kind of talk about it because some of you guys are new, and this is just some valuable information that you should know. So, when it comes to long term, this is more for buy and hold, right? You are holding for growth over years. This is like buying stocks, ETFs, and you just buy it, you place it, and you kind of forget about it for a
Yeah.
while, right?
When you're trading options, it's going to be more of a shorter term, but you can leverage a lot more. You could use a lot less money, but leverage it to buy options.
And some people don't know that you can actually do both, but the order that you do it really does matter. Now, this is not for everybody. And there are certain things that you need to probably set yourself up so you can be successful in. And so let's just talk about it. Who should start with long term investing? I'm going to say if you don't have a lot of capital, you're now getting started, you have less than $1,000, and let's say it's the only $1,000 that you have, I'm going to tell you to do long term investing.
Yeah, I think if you don't have enough money to start with and you just have a minimal amount, then maybe you should just start off by buying shares, just understanding the movements of the market, how the market moves, all that stuff. But another thing that you could do is make sure that you fully understand risk management,
Yeah.
right?
But if
Because
you
risk
don't
management,
understand it, you kind of go in that category of long term investing.
right. So you have to fully understand risk management before you even try to go into options.
Now, with risk management, guys, you don't really have to have any type. Yes, you do, but a lot of people when they buy for long term, they're just saying, "Okay, I like Apple, I like Microsoft, I like certain things. I'm just going to put my money there." Or you get your kids' money and
Mhm.
you put it there in the future and you kind of forget about it over
Mhm.
that time.
So it's like, you have to make sure that you have the time to focus on certain things. If you can't focus on it, then maybe you should be into buying shares. But the thing is, what you want to make sure is you have proper risk management with all of these because options do expire. When you buy shares, you have them. Yes, the market will go up, the market will fluctuate, but with options they do expire and you have time that works against you.
Yeah, and I think you have to be emotionally mature financially when getting into something like this. If you're not mature in your finances, making proper decisions at this particular age that you are, maybe you're bad with money, I think that's a direction to go in regards to long term because you need to be able to make quick decisions when it comes to options.
That's why I said options can be very powerful, but the thing is, you have to learn how to use it.
Mhm.
If you don't understand certain things, if you get just a little itch by losing a little bit amount of money,
Yeah.
maybe you have to work on that first before you jump into
Yeah,
options.
because ashrams will wreck your confidence, right? Because you see a little pullback, you see red, you're like, "Oh my god," you start freaking out, and it really isn't. You just have to understand the charts and, price action. But who is options for? I feel like options are for the people that understand the market. You took the time to get educated, you
Mhm.
understand price action, you understand things. When you see the charts, you know what you're doing. I feel like people should get started in that. That's why I always say it's good to have guidance and mentorship when it comes to options trading versus, when you have your stocks, you just buy your stocks and you just leave it there for long term. And for people who actually like paper trade, they're consistent and
Mhm.
they're just showing up.
I feel like with paper trading, that's why we start our mentees with that as well.
Correct.
Because with paper trading, it's very important for you to understand how to execute trades when it comes to options. So if you paper trade consistently for a while, then fine. If you understand the platform, how to execute trades, know what to look for as far as, setups. If you're thinking long term as well, remember options, you could use options for long term. You just have to know how to play them.
Yeah. And you have to be able to master your emotional side. Psychology is very important. I talk about this on this podcast very often. 80% of it is psychology. You have to work on yourself. And I feel like when you are able to do that, you'll be okay in option. But you got to work on you internally, your emotions. You cannot be out of whack and trying to trade options personally.
Yeah, because the thing is the profit hype will get you,
Yeah.
right? The profit hype will get you. So while you see people trading options and they're posting crazy amount, like I'll post crazy amount, 1,000% that we
Yeah.
did on Friday, right? 2,000%, 100%. Like, yeah, those will happen and they can happen within a week, but you have to make sure that you're doing proper risk reward. If you're putting your whole account up, then you can lose your whole account.
Mm.
But if you have the proper risk management in place, then everything can be right for you when you're doing options trading.
Options is very powerful, guys, but if you skip the basics, it will humble you.
It will.
I always tell the people when I have the calls with them, I always tell them, I say, either you pay for proper guidance and mentorship or you pay the market
Yeah.
trying to figure it
Either
out.
way, you're gonna pay. But the thing is, when you pay the markets, you really don't learn anything because
Correct.
you have no structure, you have no plan, you don't know what you're doing wrong. So you're gonna watch videos, you're gonna try to teach yourself because you don't want to spend the money, but now you put the money in the
Mm.
markets take it away from you. So think about the thousands of dollars. If you're watching right now and you're one of the person that's doing this, you need to stop. Stop giving your money to the markets. Instead, find somebody that you can relate to, that you understand, that you can lock in with. And then at that point, pay that person. Think about the thousands of dollars that you already gave to the market when you could have
I
paid
think that's the
somebody that.
part that people are missing. They don't realize about them paying the market
Yeah.
blessing.
Yeah, you have to pay your dues, okay? You're either gonna pay your dues to the market, which I've done, but I was tired, right? So mentorship, I understand what mentorship means. I've done it in every area of my life. We've done it in every area of our lives. If you went to college, you paid for mentorship. The thing is, are you getting your right returns on that? Are you getting your right returns on that? People pay hundreds of thousands of dollars just to go to college to come out and just have a piece of paper that they still have to learn when they go to that job.
Yeah.
They still have to train them because now they have to apply the systems that that job use.
Yeah.
But imagine just spend a few $1,000s on yourself, right?
Correct.
That nobody can take away. And now you apply that into the markets and now you're making thousands, you're making
Yeah.
millions of
I don't think
dollars.
people understand the capacity, what you can really get from this, right? We
Mhm.
go to college and sometimes you get out of college and you're like, I don't
What's
want to do
next?
this. Not
Yeah.
even. I don't want to. Too much people I know. I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I thought in my head I wanted to do this, but I don't.
Yeah.
So now you spend all hundreds of thousands of dollars to only say, oh, I don't want to do this. Let me go find something else to do and go back to school,
Yeah.
right? Versus doing
And
something
yeah,
like
go
this
back
and
to school.
learning
Yeah.
within a couple of weeks pull money in and out on a daily basis. But that's that. Let's talk about the misconceptions of options, right? People assume options equals day trading. And honestly, that is not the full picture. There is more. When you think of options, it's not just day trading. You have the option to day trade, right? But you also have the options to swing trade.
Swing trades could come in where you could swing for a couple days, a day or two. You could swing for a week. You could swing for a month, but also you could do leaps. And this is where long-term investing
Break that
come
down for
in.
them.
This is where leaps come in. So long-term investing, this is where options could be very, very useful if you're doing leaps. Because say for instance, you're buying Tesla, right?
Yep.
Tesla right now is $450. If you buy 10 shares of Tesla, you have to put up 4,500. If you want to buy 100 shares of Tesla, you have to put up $45,000. Now, just think about that. So if Tesla goes up $10, you
Mhm.
make $1,000. Okay,
Ooh-wee.
great, great. But you had to spend
A lot.
$45,000 for you to make that type of money,
Yeah, that's
right?
crazy.
Now, if you buy options and you buy a year out or you buy 2 year options out, you might spend a good, say, 2 grand,
Yeah.
3 grand, right? For a year out or 2 years out.
Because the longer you go, you're buying for safety.
You're
Remember
buying
that.
for safety, but now you have you have controls over 100 shares.
Yeah.
You still have the control over 100 shares. But now guess what? If Tesla goes up $100, right? Or Tesla goes up $50 during that 2 year period, the type of money you will make is explainable versus if you was supposed to go up just $50, you would make $5,000
Yeah.
on your trade with that.
That's
So
wow.
it's just different. You can use that. And this is a great tool that you could use for your kids. If you find stocks, like right now, we have stocks that if you're inside our mentorship, we talk about these stocks, right? Very affordable stocks that you could buy 100 shares But we also tell people, hey, listen, buy leaps. And if you have kids, put those in their portfolio as well so they could buy those and have them as leaps. And then, at the end of the 2 years, you could also sell those. But you also are not paying short term capital gains by buying leaps. There's a lot of benefits when it comes to you buying leaps, but you have to understand that there's a risk also involved. When you
Yeah.
buy shares, your money is there. If the stocks go down, you still have the stocks. But when you buy leaps, if you buy contracts, if you buy options, those can expire. They can expire with being worth
Yeah.
more, or they could expire
Be
being worth
worth no.
less.
So with that being said, it's not about fast money, guys. That's why I like the options of swing trading just as well for a lot of the busy professionals. It's about controlled entries, exits. It's all data driven decisions when it comes to options. It really is. And, this is why mentorship really matters, right? Most traders are failing because they never get that proper foundation. I get
Yeah,
a lot of people that are messaging me from either like the forex or future side. They saw somebody on YouTube try something and they're trying to put the pieces together and they just have no foundation. They haven't been successful. They've been in it for years and all they've been doing is losing money, just giving away money. Now they want to figure out, okay, I got to understand the foundation. The basics are important. We cannot skip the basics. I do not care from where you're coming from, forex, options, futures. You have to understand the basics of what you're getting into. When you're able to understand that, then you understand the
yeah,
importance of your
yeah.
strategy.
That's
You
why
always tell them strategy, all the strategies work,
all the
right?
strategies work. But the thing is, we don't only teach people
No.
what works, right? It's not only about the what, but it's about
Yeah.
the why, the strategy, the psychology
Yep.
behind it, the real
Structure.
structure behind it. Because every strategy work. I don't care what you're looking at. There's a setup that somebody say, hey, I find the best scalping setup. Yeah, it will work anytime that presents itself to you,
Mhm.
but you have to be patient and wait. A lot of people try to force trades or try to create a scenario where it's not there. You
Mhm.
have to be patient with your trades. But the thing is, what most people do or most beginners do is they go ahead and hop from
Yeah.
different strategy to different strategy without giving it time, without mastering that one strategy. Once you master it, then you master your psychology behind
Yeah.
that, you're good. But if you keep hopping from strategy to strategy, you won't be profitable.
Yeah, you got to be serious about this, guys. And when I say the foundation, I mean you got to understand the terminology. You got to understand those setups to a T. Because when you see those setups, you're going to want to just jump instantly, right? Because we had a call with our mentees today and we were
Yeah,
going over certain setups. And in the moment, those
yeah.
setups were happening
They
and
they
money was
were
being
like,
made
yeah,
instantly.
yeah,
But you have to understand that and the risk management and just having that live support, right? There's one thing I get a lot of calls from people saying, "Oh, I took a course." We don't offer a course. We offer mentorship. You want somebody to hold your hands. You want somebody to keep you accountable. You want somebody to say, "George, this is where you're messing up on." Right? You're
mhm,
not getting entries. You're not understanding your stop losses. You're not even taking profit when you need to take profit,
yeah.
right?
And some of the reasons why people are still frustrated is because they might see mentorship and they might think course wise, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, they're struggling and then they think they're getting into a mentorship, but what they actually went and do is buy a course. A
Yeah.
course is different from a mentorship. You go and buy a course, you have to go through that course. You still have to watch videos. It's
You
like
have no
you
one to
watch
ask questions to.
it's like you watching YouTube videos. It's the same exact thing. But now with a mentorship is for somebody to be there to guide you while you're watching videos, while you're going through the process. If you don't understand something, that's where the mentor come in and say, "Hey, if you don't understand it, this is a deeper dive in it. Let me see what you're doing. Okay,
Yep.
this is what you're doing wrong. Okay." So there's a guidance towards it. But in when you have a mentor in trading, I don't care what type of mentorship it
Hmm.
is. When you have a mentor, you should be able to make money, especially in trading. While you're being mentored, you should be able to make
Yeah.
money as well.
You're
So
earning while you're learning.
you're earning while you're learning. Same thing for me with real estate. But with real estate, it's a little bit different because a lot more is required from you in real estate. With trading, it's a lot less that's required, a
Yeah.
lot, a lot less as far as leverage, a lot
Yeah.
less as far as risk. But now you could make money while you're learning if the mentor is right for you. So it doesn't have to be us. Okay. I'm not saying come mentor with us, come into our program. No, because not everybody's for us. What I'm saying is find somebody. that you like. Find somebody that you can relate to and lock in with that person and let that person help you,
You don't have to
genuinely help
figure
you.
this out on your own.
You don't
That's
need to.
the you shouldn't have to, right? You really shouldn't. Like, you should be able to figure this out in real time with someone. And I think the ones that really thrive the most is because they had that proper guidance. They had someone to say, "All right, let's pull up these charts. Let's
Mm,
see where you're at. Let's see where you're
mhm.
messing up," and just really dive in, deeper dive, because everybody's situation is different. Everybody's learning style is different,
Mhm.
right? And so it's very important that that person can actually tailor that for you.
Yeah.
Some people need to see things 2 or 3 times, but broken down maybe in different ways because they might not be able to understand. It's real.
No,
I deal with people every day.
I smile because it's real, because I had a mentee that came in and she's like, "George, kindergarten, we have people that come in and they don't know what a chart was,
Yeah.
right? But now they're making trades and they're
Yeah.
like, it is
So
where when you
satisfying.
have a mentor should be able to guide you the right way.
Mhm.
So when you get out of that mentorship, you feel like you've not
Yeah,
only
you could
learned
run.
something, but you could run on your own, right? So when we do our mentorship, if you're serious about getting mentor, then you could go ahead and fill out an application and book a call. But with us, we want to make sure that people are successful no matter where they
Absolutely.
go. So make sure that you do your due diligence. You could come into our Discord, you could see all the testimonies, you could see all the stuff, even in our profit flex that we do. But one of the things is, not only do I recommend and I require people that come into our mentorship to paper trade, but also afterwards, I give them free opportunities to come into the live and make money, right? Because you're supposed to be able to make money while you're getting mentored.
Absolutely. So let's go over what the ideal path is for a beginning. So the first thing is start investing small,
Yep.
right? Build the emotional confidence. I have someone that is a stay-at-home mom. And so she's
Mhm.
starting small, right? And
Yep.
she's building up and she's building the confidence. You guys can go into our testimony. She's like, listen, I'm starting small and it's okay. Because once you could build that confidence with one or two, imagine trading with 100 contracts. There's no difference between buying one contract and 100. It's just your emotional
Yeah,
standpoint.
that's the
That's
nervous
it.
system kicked in, you know?
Correct. So start small if you need to, build that emotion. The next thing, like you always tell
It's
them,
paper trade. Paper
is
and
while you
it's
study.
yeah.
Because we want to know, does that strategy work?
Mhm.
Right? That is what people trading is for. Do you understand how to get in and get out? Because sometimes people will mix up and buy shares when you're supposed to be buying options. It's the little kinks that we're working with right now. We get those kinks out the way, you're going to be good
Yeah.
after that. Right? We don't want to get the kinks out with our real money. That's absolutely insane. You want to get your kinks out. You just put your foot in the water. Get your kinks out the way with the paper trading. But that is not for where you to stay. I do not let my students stay there. I
Yeah.
give you a little bit of time to
Yeah.
figure out your kinks and get it together because we
Because
jumping in this water together.
yeah, but now I like to push them off the cliff.
Absolutely,
You
because people
know,
get too comfortable.
push them off the cliff. So once you get outside of paper trading, you need the right community,
Absolutely.
regardless, because trading can get very, very lonely.
If you're by yourself.
If you're by yourself. Now, I tell my mentees this, it's like, I am very grateful that I can trade with my wife, and I trade with my wife every single day, right? So I don't feel the lonely concept. But when I used to feel lonely is when I used to trade by myself years ago when she wasn't actively trading. Now that we actively trade together, it's a whole different feeling. By yourself, sometimes it could feel depressing. Sometimes it could feel like, man, what if I could bounce ideas off of somebody?
Yeah.
That's where community comes in.
I love having our community because everybody supports each other. There is nothing more satisfying when you're able to get praised by your peers. So I always tell people, drop your profit flex. I don't care if you got $100 or if you got $10,000 today, because everybody's going to congratulate you. Everybody's going to say,
Mhm.
great job. And it builds your confidence. It makes you feel good about the journey that you're on. So
Yeah.
it's like you're learning at the same time from other people. You're watching what's going on. To me, you move faster with community, the right
Mhm.
community. Put it that way. You move faster with the right community. And you're just repeating the steps after that.
Yeah. So it's like, start small.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're ready, start small. You don't have to come in, try to swing for the fences. Get comfortable with what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. Know your why, because your why is going to keep you to drive past when times get tough, when you're not understanding certain things. the why is gonna keep you afloat.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So don't get humbled by the markets. When you get too confident, you will be humbled. Okay.
Correct.
But stay in a point where you always want to learn, you always want to grow,
Teachable.
and stay with that community that you could watch, you could learn, and you could grow together.
So it's just at this point, you watch this video trying to figure out, are you going to do options? Are you going to stick to long-term trading and, the investing? It's where you are financially on your journey. And if you're stuck, we welcome you to come into the Married to the Markets, right? We have a Discord. If you're watching this, you're probably watching this on YouTube. Come over into the Discord. You'll be able to meet new people, interact. And if you need help, you don't understand structure, you don't understand entries, you don't understand candlesticks and all the other things, come on. We could do the mentorship with you, or you can find someone else that you could relate to. But I'm assuming if you watch this video to the end, is because you rock with Georgia and I, right? Guys, this is a season to not sit down on the sidelines and keep
Mhm.
watching other people. It's either you're moving or shaking, or you're getting left behind. And I don't want you to get left behind because you have the knowledge, you have the willpower. You just need that little nudge and that little push to actually get started.
Yep.
Right? So, guys, make sure you comment on this video. Let us know what your takeaway was from this. And let us know what are the topics that you guys want to hear just as well. Otherwise, that's it for this
That's
episode
it.
of the podcast.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching.
And we'll see you guys next time.